Chapter 1331. Inviting Qi Shang over. The banquet started. In this small hall, there was only Feng Yuan, Wuan, and Qi Shang, three Gu immortals. Wuan naturally did not play a key role. The only important thing was that Feng Yuan and Qi Shang were interacting. Feng Yuan toasted Qi Shang. Speaking politely with a smile, he expressed a lot of admiration and praise towards Qi Shang's formation path attainment. After smiling and admitting defeat, could Qi Shang bear to give him a hard time? Qi Shang was straightforward and unguarded, unschooled in interacting with others. He drank a lot of wine. He assessed Feng Yuan, looking at him in a different perspective. This Wu Yihai is quite a friendly guy. What happened earlier? Was he trying to purposely anger me? Or does he have a request of me? Qi Shang thought to himself. I will not hide it. Qi Shang, talented people like you are the people I admire the most. Feng Yuan laughed, toasting. Qi Shang raised his cup and drank before Feng Yuan even drank. The toasting from earlier had already made Qi Shang used to this subconsciously, but Feng Yuan's words were nice to hear. Especially when they were love rivals. Such praise made Qi Shang feel deep accomplishment. No, I must be alert. This Wu Yihai might be acting. He is very scheming. Qi Shang did not let down his guard, but no matter how he looked at it, Feng Yuan's smile was full of sincerity. Forget about Feng Yuan's acting skills, but don't forget attitude Gu. Qi Shang, take a look. Feng Yuan stretched out his arm, handing over an information path mortal Gu to Qi Shang. What is this? Qi Shang muttered. He looked into it, and his expression changed. As it turned out, this was an information path mortal Gu that Feng Yuan was going to send to Xiaoxi Lu. He praised Qi Shang in the letter. His admiration was overwhelming. He admitted his own insufficiencies. Using formation path questions to challenge Qi Shang was just him overestimating himself. He was truly ignorant and could not see Mount Tai. Qi Shang was a true southern border hero. There was no such thing as Mount Tai in this world, but the meaning was the same. After Qi Shang saw this letter, he felt embarrassed. Feng Yuan's praise was too exaggerated. Am I really so good? Southern border hero. Why have I never thought of that? What would Fairy Si Lu think after she sees this? All sorts of thoughts appeared. Qi Shang could not contain his emotions. When he looked at Feng Yuan again, his gaze transformed. Feng Yuan directly sat beside him. Qi Shang did not feel any dislike towards this closeness. Qi Shang, throughout the southern border Gu immortal world, only you are talented enough for Fairy Si Lu. I am truly in admiration. Feng Yuan laughed loudly. Oh. Qi Shang did not know what to say. He had joy on his face, but also suspicions. Feng Yuan said again, but I will not give up. All gentlemen may pursue beautiful and clever women. Even though I am less talented than you, I will work harder. You won this time, but we will compete fairly again in the future. What do you think? Hearing this, Qi Shang's suspicions faded. He raised his cup for the first time and tasted Feng Yuan. Yes, fair competition. A contest between gentlemen should be fair and square. Saying this, he treated Feng Yuan as a gentleman. Feng Yuan laughed heartily, patting his shoulders. To speak the truth, I hate the other competitors, but you are different. You are so talented and upright. I admire you. If you can get Fairy Si Lu's love, I will bless you too, because I know that I did not lose unfairly. As for the others, they are just clowns. Qi Shang was embarrassed from being praised. He rubbed his nose, saying, actually, some of them are quite strong. Friends are often made after a fight. Come, drink. Feng Yuan raised his cup. Qi Shang acted even more openly. Drink. He raised his head and gulped, drinking all of the wine in one mouthful. Next, he burped. His face turned red. Awesome. Feng Yuan gave a thumbs up, pouring wine for Qi Shang again. He smiled sincerely and enthusiastically. He was very friendly. But the truth was, he was calm in his mind. He thought about Qi Shang's information that Wu clan's intelligence was very reliable. Feng Yuan knew long ago. This Qi Shang had been noticed by Qi Chu Yu when he was young. He saw the talent that Qi Shang had in formation path. Thus he nurtured him deeply. Qi Shang was known as the formation devotee. He was chosen when he was a youth. He was sent into a cave in Myriad Snake Mountain to study. He stayed there for 30 years. When he was 40, he came out and had rank 3 cultivation level. But he surpassed rank 4 and 5 Gu masters in creating formations. His formation path attainment shocked the entire Qi clan. Next, his clansmen realized that Qi Shang had actually come out of seclusion because he lost his way and accidentally left the mountain. His performance resulted in great fame. Fortune and women came to him, but he rejected them all. His only request was to return to the cave and continue his formation path research. This alerted the Supreme Elders. Qi Chuyu permitted Qi Shang's request, creating a cave solely for him, with attendants and servants to cater to him. Qi Shang continued his research. He was so engrossed in it. It was shocking. As if formation path was the only joy in his life that he was invested in it. Regardless of what happened outside, he only stayed in his cave, engrossed in his formation path cultivation without seeing daylight. When his hair turned white and his lifespan was ending, Qi Chuyu came to see him and asked, "In this life, did you regret anything? Do you have any requests before dying?" Qi Shang cried loudly, saying, "Life is too short. 100 years passes by too quickly. My formation path research still has many things left to do. How can I rest in peace? This is my biggest regret." Qi Chuyu sighed in admiration, granting him a lifespan Gu. Qi Shang obtained it, regaining his youth and lifespan. Qi Chuyu talked to him about formation path, guiding him for 3 days and 3 nights before confirming that Qi Shang was the clan's future hope. His formation path attainment could reach great grandmaster in the future. Qi Chuyu did not just say it, he acted on it, nurturing Qi Shang with a lot of resources from the clan. With the clan's help, Qi Shang's cultivation level rose rapidly. He became an immortal. In a few decades, he became a rank 7 Gu immortal. Even though he became an immortal, his living habits did not change at all. That he was still invested in formation path. He continued to research it endlessly. His close cultivations lasted from years to over a decade. The only shocking thing was that he pursued Xiao Lu with a firm attitude. When news got out, Qi clan was taken aback. To think that other than formation path, Qi Shang actually liked women. After getting Wu clan's intelligence, Fang Yuan thought that Qi Shang was an interesting person. With this knowledge, he used a special method to deal with Qi Shang. Instead, he did not meet with Qi Shang earlier. It was part of Fang Yuan's scheme. He purposely used the formation path problem to challenge him. That was the second step, and this third step was the banquet. Qi Shang's performance was not out of Fang Yuan's expectations. Everything progressed according to plan. Not long ago, Xiao Lu had sent a letter according to Fang Yuan's expectations. As the person involved, Xiao Lu had to express her attitude clearly. Even though she did not state it, in the letter, she talked about her first encounter with Qi Shang. According to Xiao Lu, back then, she visited Qi clan with Xiao clan's orders. She was attended to by Qi clan first supreme elder's son, Gu immortal Qi Bang. But to think that this Qi Bang was hitting on Xiao Lu by using the beautiful scenery and some poems, if this were normal times, Xiao Lu might not get mad. But now, she was the envoy from Xiao clan. Qi Bang's actions were disrespectful to Xiao clan. Xiao Lu felt resentment towards him. To deal with him, Xiao Lu purposely got closer to Qi Shang. Qi Bang was Qi Chuyu's son, the supposed next first supreme elder of Qi clan. He had the second highest authority in the clan. Nobody dared to trifle with him except the formation devotee Qi Shang. Qi Shang did not know about the issue. He had no interest in Xiao Lu initially, but she purposely talked to him about formation path and even explained some of Xiao clan's formation path knowledge. Qi Shang was deeply attracted. He gained a lot of interest. Xiao Lu used Qi Shang to deal with Qi Bang. Qi Bang could not do anything. He could only apologize to Xiao Lu secretly. Xiao Lu completed the clan's mission and returned in success, also gaining a suitor in Qi Shang. Xiao Lu's letter gave Fang Yuan important information. He gained a clearer understanding of Qi clan's internal affairs. Qi clan's first supreme elder has limited lifespan. He can no longer use lifespan Gu, but his son, Qi Bang, became an immortal due to his protection. He has limited capability. Qi Chuyu knows about his son's abilities, but he wants him to become Qi clan's future first supreme elder. Thus, after noticing Qi Shang's personality and talent, he decided to invest in him and nurture this formation devotee. As long as the formation devotee protects him, Qi Bang will have a good chance of staying first Supreme Elder. And the formation devotee's admiration and gratitude towards Qi Chu, you will make him unable to escape the control of Qi Bang. Kinship He. Xiao Si Lu's letter showed Qi clan's internal political conflicts to Fang Yuan. And because of this problem, a genius like Qi Shang emerged. At the same time, some questions that Fang Yuan had was answered. Come, Wu Yihai, let me toast you. At this time, Qi Shang toasted Fang Yuan for the first time, breaking his train of thought. Qi Shang continued. You are a very sincere person. When Fairy Si Lu and I get together, you do not need to be too upset. You are very talented. There are lots of women in the world, but few are well learned about formation path. Chapter 1332, Happy Host and Guest. Qi Shang drank a lot. His face was red. He spoke a lot. It seemed that after defeating Fang Yuan in this contest, his confidence had risen sharply. He felt that he could obtain the love of his life, that GU immortals had all sorts of methods to prevent getting drunk. But that way, the joy of drinking would be gone, and it was very rude to their drinking buddies. Fang Yuan quickly raised his cup, drinking the wine as he smiled. If that is the case, I will admit I am unlucky. It was too bad that I had a competitor like you. Sigh. Fang Yuan sighed to himself, as if lamenting that the heavens saw fit to put someone so gifted in his way. He expressed that sentiment fully in his act. Qi Shang laughed loudly, stretching out his arm and patting Fang Yuan's shoulder, consoling him. Fang Yuan laughed internally. This Qi Shang was so innocent and pure. This matter was decided long as long as Fang Yuan agreed. Xiao Si Lu would enter his embrace. This was a certain thing, but Xiao Si Lu did not express her intention. Clearly, because this fairy had her schemes and pride, she wanted to play hard to get, so as to raise her own value. Actually, Fang Yuan could tell very clearly. Like this time, Xiao Si Lu's letter was the expression of her attitude. Xiao Si Lu is seeing that Qi Shang and I are competing. She is very happy about it. Earlier, she had been watching on the fence. This suited her intentions. When I lost, she then took the initiative to tell me about the situation between her and Qi Shang. She wants to console me and let me know that she has no feelings for Qi Shang. It was his one-sided affection. But this clever woman did not state her attitude clearly. She just talked about a fact to show her purity, while showing that she had a lot of value to her suitors. It was natural instinct for men to pursue women. How many men pursued her, and the type of men that went after her, these somewhat determined the perceived value of a woman. Xiao Si Lu is seeking to be with me. This is not her personal wish, but the political desire of Qiao clan. And with just this, I am already ahead of all her suitors. No matter how many times I fail, no matter how many women I go after, no matter how weak I am, even if I make a scene like during the Moon Festival, so what? I am already victorious. In fact, even if I go after another woman instead of Xiao Si Lu, she will turn around and pursue me instead. Of course, this is not love, this is politics. Fang Yuan sneered in his mind. He had seen through everything, but he could not accept this love from Xiao Si Lu. Once he accepted it, he would be dragged into this vicious political spiral. He would no longer be simply Wu Yihai. He would be the key pawn that Xiao clan had inserted into Wu clan to fight for their own benefits. Wu Yong would no longer give him such a relaxed environment like now. He would keep Fang Yuan under close observation, suppressing him and maintaining alertness against this brother. If that happened, would Fang Yuan be able to enter the dream realms easily? Evidently, he could not. He might even get exposed, and that would lead to greater problems. Once Fang Yuan's identity was exposed, he would face the attacks of Qiao clan. Because they were a righteous path force, they had to keep a clear distance from Fang Yuan. And Wu clan and Xiao clan would try to defend their own reputation by going after Fang Yuan with all their effort, far more than the other clans. However, even though I cannot accept it, and won't accept it, I can make use of this loved. Using Xiao Si Lu, Fang Yuan would make Wu Yong more alert. He would arrange for Fang Yuan to be sent back to the Super Gu formation. Fang Yuan's goal would be achieved. Of course, there was nothing perfect in this world. Even though this method was brilliant, it had its drawbacks. Wu Yong's alertness, Luo Muzi, Luan Fei, and Qi Shang, as well as Xiao Si Lu's other suitors were all lingering problems. There was pure love in this world, but it was indeed rare. When people lived in this world, they had to consider many things. Xiao Silu's beauty, background, cultivation level, and others. These were alluring temptations. Among her suitors, Qi Shang was the purest, but he still considered the element of formation path, not to mention the others at AS for Fang Yuan. He was the most special one. Qi Shang's arrival was not out of Fang Yuan's expectations. In fact, he was mentally prepared. Even without Qi Shang, others were going to come and find problems. Even if they did not come now, they would in the future, because Fang Yuan was approaching Xiao Silu and the benefits associated with her. He angered many people. Among these people, there were suitors, and there were forces behind them after the benefits. As the saying goes, beautiful women are troubled. A beauty was not easy to pursue. Only a naive person would think of using love and emotions to conquer a beauty. Actually, there was far more. A woman's beauty was her natural dowry. This dowry was extremely valuable. It was a huge amount of wealth. Who would not want such wealth? But not everyone could protect this wealth. If a beauty was willing to give this wealth to her partner out of pure love, then this lucky person should treat her well. But the truth was, such situations were too few. If it happened, treasure it. If it didn't, don't bank on it. This was not unseemly. This was reality. When Fang Yuan returned to the Super Gu formation, he started to think of how to settle the aftermath of this. The true chess master would consider many steps ahead before even moving. In fact, when Fang Yuan decided to use Xiao Silu's love to achieve his goals, he had already started to think of how to resolve the fallout of this issue. If he handled it badly, Qi Shang would be only the first one here. The second, third, and so on. These people would be unending. This would be huge interference for Fang Yuan's exploration of the dream realm. At the same time, Wu Yihai's identity restricted Fang Yuan greatly in dealing with these challenges. He could not expose himself during the process. Fang Yuan needed to resolve this problem carefully and accurately. How? It was difficult, and yet easy. He would create a target, someone who would attract the attention of those suitors. Fang Yuan had been expecting people to find trouble with him. Qi Shang came here at such an opportune time. Fang Yuan was secretly happy about it. When he looked through Qi Shang's information, his joy increased by several times. His opponent's stupidity was his own fortune. Of course, there was a point. Such stupidity had nothing to do with IQ or EQ. There was a clear example from Earth. It was Yu Fei Sup 1/Sup. Yu Fei went on a campaign, and when he was about to succeed, the emperor he served used 12 golden plaques to recall him back to the capital and executed him on false charges. The reason was the emperor being stupid? He was. But were the emperor and officials idiots? They were not. If Yu Fei succeeded in his campaign, the reputation of his personal army would rise greatly. The emperor's authority would be lower than this general. The threat was too big. And most importantly, if Yu Fei won, he would bring back the former emperor. Then what would the current emperor do? And now, Qi clan's first supreme elder, Qi Chuyu, intentionally nurtured a Gu immortal like Qi Shang. Was he senile? Did he not know that a person like Qi Shang, who was focused on researching formation path and had no capabilities in political conflicts, would eventually become a tool that was used? He was not senile, of course. He nurtured Qi Shang extensively precisely because he knew this. Because his son needed to be the first supreme elder, he needed a tool to assist his son. Qi Shang was the chosen one. Many people thought that Qi Shang was Fang Yuan's problem. But that was not the case from Fang Yuan's perspective. He felt like this was an opportunity. If he handled this well, he would resolve all the future problems ahead. He would be able to peacefully explore the dream realm and raise his foundation for the following period of time. Thus, Fang Yuan had to lose. If he did not lose, how would he create the bigger threat then? Himself, Qi Shang. Without this meat shield, how would he divert all of the attention away? Qi Shang was the easiest to plot against. From his information, Fang Yuan knew that Qi Shang loved to research formation path. He was most skilled in answering problems and creating the necessary Gu formations. Fang Yuan thus challenged him using this as a researcher. Qi Shang had his unique pride in this domain. He was specialized in that he could ignore everything else. He did not pay attention to his appearance, nor did he have any interest in fortune, but he cared about this, because this was the meaning of his life. Fang Yuan, a transformation path Gu immortal, was using this to challenge him. This was a huge slap on Qi Shang's face to begin with. How could Qi Shang endure this? He could not. Thus, he fell into the trap that Fang Yuan had set. He could not climb out. Not only was he stuck in the trap, he even toasted Fang Yuan, feeling that Fang Yuan was a very sincere person. You are a competitor, but what can I say? We are truly friends made after a fight, haha. Qi Shang laughed, placing his arm around Fang Yuan's shoulder. Enough talking, let's drink. Fang Yuan gulped. Qi Shang stared at Fang Yuan with wide eyes. He gave a thumbs up and said, "Brother, you are so cool. Let's drink." Both sides continued to empty their cups. Good wine. Qi Shang sighed. To speak the truth, this is the first time I am drinking so much. Fang Yuan laughed heartily, but he was unmoved inside. The wine of the righteous path was not so easy to drink. The demonic path fought and killed. They were direct in their actions. The banquets of the righteous path was shrouded in rumors and suspicions. They were filled with schemes and plots. All sorts of devious thoughts were like undercurrents, waiting to sweep unknowing prey into the abyss. Fang Yuan lost the challenge to Qi Shang, but he was very happy. He spread news about this to what if he lost? Sometimes, losing was a way to achieve one's goals. Qi Shang was also very happy. He felt that this was the happiest he had ever been in a banquet, once, both the host and guests were happy. Chapter 1333, Plunder Shadow. A joyous banquet was not the end. It was the beginning. Fang Yuan and Qi Shang became good friends. For the next few days, Fang Yuan frequently invited Qi Shang, and Qi Shang often came to Wu clan's territory to visit Fang Yuan. It was both easy and difficult to get close to someone and create a good relationship. The key was simply lowering the status of oneself and accommodating to the other party's wishes. Fang Yuan was an old schemer, with attitude gu in his possession. How could Qi Shang be his match? Qi Shang was the formation devotee. He was not interested in ordinary gu immortals. But Fang Yuan was a formation path quasi-grandmaster. He had a connection to this formation path grandmaster. Both parties conversed on the topic of formation path. Qi Shang was soon amazed with Fang Yuan's formation path attainment. He expressed his doubt at this, because Fang Yuan was a transformation path cultivator. But Fang Yuan told him, "I had always been interested in formation path. When I was a mortal, I researched formation path and primarily cultivated it due to some fortuitous encounters. But circumstances in life forced twists and turns. Later, I had to become a transformation path gu immortal. But I am already very lucky. After all, how many lone cultivators can become immortal?" This helplessness made Qi Shang sigh deeply. He felt a deep sense of compassion towards Fang Yuan. "If you want to cultivate formation path, I can help you. Qi clan has a few formation path gu immortals. I can intervene and transact formation path immortal gu for you." Qi Shang stated that it was not easy for him to offer this. This proved that Fang Yuan's hard work had paid off. It was possible to change paths, but the vital gu had to be changed too. Fang Yuan looked very moved. "If I want to change paths in the future, I will find you for help." Qi Shang nodded. "By then, just tell me." He knew that it was not easy for a gu immortal to change paths. It could not be done quickly. This was a huge matter and needed a lot of aspects to be considered. There were also negative repercussions on the immortal aperture as well. While interacting with Qi Shang, Fang Yuan gained a lot of benefits. Even though his attainment level did not increase, Fang Yuan's knowledge did. His basic understanding of formation path had been supplemented. It was of huge help to him. Fang Yuan gained a more comprehensive and deeper understanding of formation path. What was the difference between gu formations and killer moves? Qi Shang told Fang Yuan, "Gu formations are a type of killer move. Killer moves use multiple gu worms at the same time. Gu formations are the same. Gu formations are the killer moves of formation path. Each gu formation is a different killer move. Thus, formation path is the path with the most killer moves among all paths. Of course, gu formations and killer moves have slight differences in details. For example, gu formations last a longer time. And after a gu formation is set up, the amount of mental energy the gu master uses up also decreases." "What is the essence of formation path?" Fang Yuan asked Qi Shang. Qi Shang shook his head. "Even though I am a formation path grandmaster, I have insufficient attainment level to talk about the essence of formation path. But my clan's Lord Chi Chu you had once told me, the essence of formation path is to create environments. Fang Yuan heard this and felt deeply enlightened. The goo formation of the coiling thread caves was precisely to nurture more regretful spiders by creating a new habitat and environment for them, right? It seems that formation path great grandmasters can use the natural Tao marks of the surroundings to use fewer goo worms in setting up their goo formations. In some places with abundant natural Tao marks, just using mortal goo can form an immortal goo formation. Is that true? Fang Yuan asked Qi Shang again. Qi Shang nodded, explaining patiently, that is true. But actually, at our level, we can only use Tao marks. Some goo formations are not just built on the foundation of goo worms, but also goo materials. But we can only use the Tao marks inside the immortal materials to set up the goo formation. After a long time passes, these immortal materials will be destroyed. Formation path great grandmasters are one step ahead. Not only can they use immortal and mortal materials, they can also use the Tao marks of the surroundings according to the environment. This conversation was a huge inspiration to Fang Yuan. Thereafter, he attended to Qi Shang even more enthusiastically. Fang Yuan soon realized that banquets were not very effective at improving their relationship. He might as well converse with him about formation path. Sometimes, an intense discussion would incite the passion in Qi Shang's heart and make him feel closer to Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan also had another trump card. He wrote letters to Xiao Si Lu. Every time he wrote a letter, he would praise Qi Shang and exclaim about his shocking formation path talent and his incredible ingenuity. Qi Shang was getting embarrassed from being praised. He looked at Fang Yuan in a different light. He thought that this person was truly a gentleman, conducting himself uprightly and with an open mind. Returning the favor, he also wrote letters to Xiao Si Lu, praising Fang Yuan deeply, saying that he cultivated transformation path and even formation path alongside it. His attainment was so deep that he felt great admiration and surprise at it. Xiao Si Lu. She looked at the letters she received. She felt that these two suitors were praising each other so much that they had forgotten about her. She did not expect to see this situation. While she rolled her eyes to herself, she also wrote back letters of praise, especially towards their open-mindedness. Undeniably, Fang Yuan and Qi Shang turned from enemies to friends. This transformation made everyone watching from the side feel deeply shocked. Southern Border, Plunder Shadow Earth Trench. This was a famous earth trench in Southern Border because it had countless fierce dark path beasts, as well as shadow monsters that were renowned in Southern Border at the same time. This was also one of the most dangerous places in Southern Border. Right now, deep within this Plunder Shadow Earth Trench, inside a certain cave, a crazed old man with purple hair and messy clothes was running around barefoot in the cave, while screaming and making a din plop. Suddenly, he fell to the ground, and his body started to twist as he started to crawl like an earthworm. After moving for a while, he suddenly stood up, laughing sheepishly. But a moment later, his laughter stopped. His cloudy eyes regained clarity. Lord Purple, you are awake. Ing Wuxia suddenly appeared in the cave. He sighed with a complex expression. This crazed old man was Purple. Shadow Sect's party of 4 had vanished after the Battle of Reverse Flow River. They had returned to Southern Border at some point in time. They had even entered deep into Plunder Shadow Earth Trench. Purple sighed deeply. He patted the soil on his body. His body shrunk to his mini-man form with miniature wings. Call me Purple Mountain True Monarch. This will help our future actions. Purple Mountain True Monarch said, what information do you have now? Ing Wuxia said, Southern Border's political situation is progressing according to our plan. But it is a pity. Qi Shang and Wu Yihai did not have an intense conflict. They even became good friends. Oh, Purple Mountain True Monarch was slightly surprised. After looking at the information, he nodded. This Wu Yihai is quite interesting. He primarily cultivates transformation path, but also has enough formation path attainment to gain Qi Shang's approval. This would help him, but he could not defy Wu Yong. He was sent to the Super Gu formation again. Ing Wuxia nodded. Wu Yong is a rank 8 Gu immortal with great authority now. Wu Yihai had just returned not long ago. He did not even join with Qiao clan, and cannot get their full support. But this proves further that even though Wu Yihai is a lone cultivator, he has great ambitions. Because he got close to Xiao Si Lu, yet he did not get together with her, it shows that he has not agreed on the profit distribution with Xiao clan yet. Is his ambition something we can make use of? Purple Mountain True Monarch thought about it. We might be able to make use of this, but we know too little about this person. Right now, our plans on Wu clan should focus on Wu Yong. Wu clan is the #1 force in Southern Border. They are the pillar of the righteous path. If they fall, Southern Border would have huge political turmoil. By then, we will take advantage of it and destroy the Super Gu formation. We will be able to save our main body. It turned out that Wu clan's political problems were not simple. Shadow Sect was behind them, causing many of the situations. So what if Southern Border's politics get into chaos? Bai Ningbing appeared outside the cave, having a cold expression. With just the 4 of us, even if the Super Gu formation only has 4 Gu immortals defending it, it will be difficult. Furthermore, our main fighting strength is so unstable. Bai Ningbing spoke without any politeness. Even against the rank 8 Purple Mountain True Monarch, she was fearless, because when Fang Yuan chased after them, she had already set a new alliance agreement with Ying Wuxia and the others. They were of equal status. And Purple Mountain True Monarch's constant insanity made the respect in her heart dwindle. Purple Mountain True Monarch was unmoved, smiling. Political unrest is not enough. Of course, these righteous path forces are not stupid. But this is just to weaken the strength of the righteous path in the Super Gu formation. The 4 of us are not enough. We are too short on manpower. So now, we will recruit people. Recruit people? Ying Wuxia was surprised. There are still hidden cards in Southern Border that I do not know about. Because he knew that Southern Border's Shadow Sect forces were heavily crippled. If they wanted to attack the Super Gu formation, these new members needed to have high power level. Ordinary rank 6 Gu immortals were simply useless. But such people would definitely have been recruited when Ying Wuxia was facing Fang Yuan's pursuit earlier. Or even further back, if such people existed. When Spectral Soul defied heaven to refine sovereign immortal fetus Gu, they would have been used already to deal with Central Continent's Gu immortals. Purple Mountain True Monarch nodded before shaking his head. Do you two know why I fall into insanity sometimes? Chapter 1334. Assimilating with Heaven's Will. Chapter 1334. Assimilating with Heaven's Will. Purple Mountain True Monarch suddenly changed the topic. Bai Ningbing did not speak, while Ying Wuxia asked, "Is it not the interference of Heaven's will?" Purple Mountain True Monarch nodded. "It is Heaven's will indeed, but I was the one who initiated it." "What do you mean?" Bai Ningbing heard this and showed shock on her face. Hearing Purple Mountain True Monarch's words, it seemed like his insanity was due to his own actions. Purple Mountain True Monarch sighed eerily. Scenes of the past drifted in his mind. In the past, along with the other first-generation split souls, we found the major enemy was Heaven's will and tried to find ways to deal with it. I cultivated Wisdom Path. I was the leader of the split souls. I had to be the one to find a way to deal with Heaven's will. Using a part of the true inheritance of star constellation Immortal Venerable that we found, and together with my Wisdom Path attainment, I devised a method that was to assimilate with Heaven's will. Assimilate with Heaven's will. Bai Ningbing and Ying Wuxia looked at each other, frowning. That's right, Heaven's will is vast and immense. It is everywhere. Back then, we had just started to interact with it. We did not know as many secrets and weaknesses of it as now. Back then, we were greatly restricted. The situation was worsening and getting more dangerous every day. More and more members died after being targeted by Heaven's will. Hope was turning bleak. Purple Mountain True Monarch continued. Left without a choice, I used this method that was not a proper solution. Since the enemy was so powerful, I pretended to surrender and infiltrate the enemy to obtain intelligence about it. After all, know yourself and your enemy, and you will never be defeated. Bai Ningbing and Ying Wuxia's eyes shone. Even now, they could see the innovation of this method. Heaven's will was formless. Purple Mountain True Monarch actually wanted to infiltrate Heaven's will. It was truly an incredible idea. Purple Mountain True Monarch did not just think about it. He did it. Purple Mountain True Monarch continued explaining. Heaven's will. You must be clear of it. When grotto heavens devour fragments of the 9 heavens, Heaven's will enters, and any heavenly spirit inside would turn dull and robotic. The heavenly spirit becomes like this. It's similar for Gu immortals. Every time I assimilate with heaven's will, I will become crazy and lose my sense of reason. However, this is also why I can greatly reduce heaven's will's intention of killing me, and am able to live until now. There is also one benefit of this. When I fuse with heaven's will, I can clearly understand it and learn about its strengths and weaknesses. When I learn about heaven's will's thoughts, I can see the planning of heaven's will and am able to plot for myself and shadow sect. The principle of heaven is to be merciless. It treats all beings as pawns. From the perspective of heaven's will, all beings in this world are its chess pieces. And in this chessboard of destiny, there are some crucial points that attract my attention. Purple Mountain True Monarch's explanation made both by Ning Bing and Ying Wu Xie deeply interested, because they had already sensed that Purple Mountain True Monarch's following words were going to be very important, as expected. Purple Mountain True Monarch continued. I assimilated with heaven's will. I found that in heaven's will's arrangements, there were some very crucial pawns. So every time I went crazy, I would use heaven's will to get close to these pawns, and by the time I regained my senses, I would try to turn them over to my side and use my own power to make them my pieces. And in the battle not long ago, I believe you have already seen the use of one of these pawns. Bai Ning Bing's body shook. Ying Wu Xie said in realization, Lord Purple Mountain True Monarch, you are talking about Tai Bai Yunsheng? Purple Mountain True Monarch nodded. That's right. Tai Bai Yunsheng was a crucial pawn in the chessboard of destiny. Even though heaven's will arranged it, I managed to influence him and eventually used his power to allow you all to escape. Tai Bai Yunsheng had once met Purple Mountain True Monarch when he was a Gu master, obtaining his true inheritance. There were heaven's will's arrangements on him, and also Purple Mountain True Monarch's influence. Thus, when Feng Yuan was used by heaven's will to return to the past and overturn Spectral Soul's plan, Feng Yuan received Tai Bai Yunsheng's help during the process. Tai Bai Yunsheng submitted to Feng Yuan. One of the reasons was Feng Yuan's own intelligence. The other factor was heaven's will, but later, Tai Bai Yunsheng separated from Feng Yuan, helping Shadow Sect instead. This was because Feng Yuan betrayed heaven's will. At the crucial moment, he did not destroy sovereign immortal fetus Gu. He used it for himself. Tai Bai Yunsheng thus helped Shadow Sect greatly as a result of Purple Mountain True Monarch's influence. Tai Bai Yunsheng died in battle. On the surface, it was due to Feng Yuan, but from another perspective, this was the sacrificial piece from the conflict between Shadow Sect and Heaven's Will. Ying Wu Xie heard this and finally understood Purple Mountain True Monarch's intent that he called out. I get it. All these years, Lord Purple Mountain True Monarch has traveled the world. You influenced many crucial pawns, and now they will be the strength to break the Super Gu formation and rescue our main body. Purple Mountain True Monarch smiled lightly. Precisely. Southern border, Super Gu formation, sovereign immortal aperture, mini central continent, an intense jade green light shot into the sky with an alluring fragrance. Countless Gu worms were flying around in the jade light. Just one look would make a person dizzy. Feng Yuan maintained a high level of concentration. As time passed, a portion of the Gu worms stopped flying. They landed and fell underground. More and more Gu worms went underground. They started to shine and resonated with the previous Gu worms, creating a mystical power. The jade pillar of light shrunk and got fainter. At Feng Yuan's will, an immortal Gu flew out. This Gu resembled a round pearl. It was as large as a goose egg. The pearl had countless markings on it that were moving around. They were brilliant like a blooming field of lotuses, or the rumbling of clouds. It was rank 6 immortal Gu blood asset. Feng Yuan breathed roughly. The arrangement of the Gu formation had reached its most crucial moment. Blood asset immortal Gu slowly floated into the jade light. Almost instantly, the jade light was dyed by blood asset immortal Gu and turned blood red. The red light got stronger and stronger. Several breaths later, it reached an intensity that was on par with the jade light earlier. Feng Yuan let out a breath. The most crucial step was over. He just had to follow the routine now. The bright red pillar weakened before dissipating, but the fragrance still remained in the air, permeating the cave below. This cave was huge. It was around 200,000 m, deep underground. There was a few li of distance. The cave was not completely sealed. There were 100 tunnels that resembled air vents, connecting the cave to the outside world. On the surface of the ground, there were countless holes that were dark and deep, but they gave off fragrance. The goo formation for the coiling thread caves is arranged. The creation of the coiling thread caves is half done. Next, I have to move those regretful spiders over and start nurturing them. This process would require the modification of the goo formation. In a month or two, I will be done. Fang Yuan was filled with joy. Qi Shang left this place and returned to Qi clan. As Fang Yuan continued his dream realm exploration, in the formation path dream realm earlier, there were 2 scenes left. They were solved by Fang Yuan's unravel dream killer move, as he had expected. Fang Yuan's formation path attainment level reached Grandmaster. Using his formation path Grandmaster attainment level, as well as the immense gains from interacting with Qi Shang, Fang Yuan easily deduced a brand new coiling thread goo formation. This coiling thread goo formation still used blood asset immortal goo, and the effect was only doubled. Fang Yuan's initial goo formation concept could multiply his gains by 8, but this was not solvable. There was no way of setting it up. Doubling it made Fang Yuan satisfied already that he still had a lot of accumulations left. He could use Unraveled Dream many times. And with Qi Shang leaving and diverting attention away for him, he could secretly explore dream realms now. Fang Yuan treasured this rare opportunity. In the following days, he gave an excuse of going into closed cultivation in order to delve into dream realms. Right as he was laboriously exploring dream realms, shocking news came out that shook the goo immortals of all 5 regions. Central Continent's 10 great ancient sects and Heavenly Court had lost. They sent a powerful group to Northern Plains, but they did not manage to save Ma Hongyun and even had a crushing defeat. Out of the 3 rank 8 goo immortals, Wei Lingyang, Myriad Tidal Dragon, and Bai Qin Tian, 2 died, while 1 went missing. The one who killed the rank 8 goo immortals was Giant Sun, Immortal Venerable's former steed, legendary Immemorial Desolate Beast, Dogtail Life Extending Ferret. But Central Continent had survivors too. Zhao Lianyun, Yu Yizi, Shizheng Yi, and the rest were saved by Wei Lingyang risking his life. They managed to hair-raisingly escape with their lives under the reinforcements of Central Continent later. This news made the entire world shocked. Central Continent's foundation and strength was publicly recognized as the strongest in all 5 regions. The 10 great ancient sects were super forces which governed Central Continent. Any one of them could defeat the average level of super clans or tribes in all 5 regions, and Heavenly Court was in charge of the 10 great ancient sects. Not only did it rule Central Continent, its influence extended to the other 4 regions. Its status in the hearts of Central Continent's people was unshakable. In the hearts of the people in the other 4 regions, it was the #1 force in the world. After all, it had 3 immortal venerables that were in it. Which force in this world could match it? But this extremely powerful Heavenly Court actually lost in Northern Plains. After their shock, everyone learned about more information and expressed their understanding. Because it was traditionally known that Northern Plains was tough and had high battle strength, and this time, Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's descendants, Longevity Heaven, were the ones who fought. As for Heavenly Court's defeat, they had ventured into another region. Their true strength had not been used in fact. The group from Heavenly Court that went to Northern Plains was not just fighting Longevity Heaven. They also fought against old ancestor Shuehu. But regardless of the reasons, they had lost. The reputations of Longevity Heaven and Giant Sun Immortal Venerable soared, while those of Heavenly Court and the 10 great ancient sects fell drastically. Chapter 1335, Heavenly Court's Countermeasure. Chapter 1335, Heavenly Court's Countermeasure. Wei Lingyang and Bai Qin Tian died, while Myriad Tidal Dragon escaped. Fang Yuan muttered. Information was transmitted to him. In this super goo formation, he was the person with the clearest understanding of that situation. Looking at the date, it is about time. Heavenly Court went to Northern Plains Goo Immortal World, which was represented by Longevity Heaven. Central Continent was dealt a huge blow as a result. Dogtail Life Extending Ferret. As expected of Giant Sun Immortal Venerable Steed, its battle strength is truly fearsome. Even though this raises Northern Plains morale, It is not a problem for Heavenly Court. With the 500 years of his previous life, and experiencing the first half of the Five Regions' chaotic war, Feng Yuan knew that Heavenly Court had immensely deep foundation. Compared to it, Longevity Heaven was just Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's Grotto Heaven. Its foundation was far less abundant. This kind of event is incredibly rare. It had never happened in my previous life. After this, Northern Plains and Central Continent are basically enemies. Or rather, Longevity Heaven and Heavenly Court are on opposite sides. And now, will Heavenly Court take revenge? If they do, it will be very interesting. Feng Yuan thought in his mind, continuing to deduce and try to find out the possible political outcomes. Longevity Heaven came from Giant Sun Immortal Venerable, while Heavenly Court had 3 Immortal Venerables. They were all righteous path forces. To think that they would attack each other so harshly. Right now, the Gu Immortals of all 5 regions and all the different forces were focused on this matter. They were focusing on Heavenly Court's reaction. According to conventional reasoning, Heavenly Court had to counterattack because it was the #1 Gu Immortal organization in the 5 regions. If it did not do anything, its reputation would fall, but the 5 regional walls prevented any large-scale war between Gu Immortals. And most people did not know about Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's luck suppression. Heavenly Palace. It was too difficult for Heavenly Court to attack. Thus, whether it attacked or not, it had its own excuses, and no matter what Heavenly Court chose, its next step would decide the direction that the 5 regions would progress towards. Feng Yuan let out a sigh that he had predicted this long ago. Heavenly Court sent Gu Immortals to save Ma Hongyun. They would definitely face the obstruction of Northern Plains Gu Immortals. After Central Continent's Gu Immortals failed the rescue, they escaped back to Central Continent, and this battle, which had lasted a long time, finally reached a conclusion. But when he received news of this, Feng Yuan felt something amiss. There was something wrong, but he could not state what the problem was. Perhaps because everyone has changed so much because of my actions. There were too many chain reactions. And the advantage of my rebirth is shrinking, so I am feeling increasingly uneasy. The radiance of Dream Realm shone on Feng Yuan's face. His expression became dark and uncertain. No matter what, increasing my strength is most important. Dream Realm, here I come. Regardless of the situation outside, or how treacherous or uncertain it was, as long as he got stronger, Feng Yuan would feel safer. His soul entered the dream. Regaining his senses, Feng Yuan quickly found out that he was in the wilderness. Nighttime. The crescent moon emitted a cold light. Wild dogs were barking. Feng Yuan was immobile. He was carried by 2 people from the front and back. What is the matter? Realizing that he could not move, Feng Yuan started to assess the situation around him. Grunt, grunt. Sounds that resembled a pig eating entered Feng Yuan's ears. He soon realized that this weird sound came from the 2 who were carrying him. These 2 weird people carried Feng Yuan until halfway up the mountain. The dark clouds in the sky faded. Using the cold moonlight, Feng Yuan found that the 2 strange people holding him up were not humans. They were 2 boar-headed beastmen. In the current world, beastmen are extinct. Since beastmen appeared in this dream realm, what era is this? A question appeared in Feng Yuan's mind. Feng Yuan felt something amiss. He started to struggle, but he soon realized that he was extremely weak. He was heavily injured that he struggled intensely, but he only managed to move his body slightly. Gur, gur. The 2 boar-headed beastmen noticed Feng Yuan's movement and started to growl. Oh no. Feng Yuan cried out internally, but the 2 beastmen were faster. They suddenly let go. Feng Yuan fell to the ground. The intense pain almost made Feng Yuan faint on the spot. Using his firm determination and willpower, Feng Yuan forced his eyes open and saw that the boar-headed beast-man in front of him raised his leg. He stomped on Feng Yuan's face as the shape of the boar leg enlarged in Feng Yuan's vision. Bam! The next moment, Feng Yuan's entire head was smashed like a watermelon. Blood flowed out with brain matter scattering everywhere. F***ck. The dream realm exploration ended. Feng Yuan's soul was injured. He was forced out. This means I need to wait for my chance. I cannot act rashly. Feng Yuan thought as he used Guts Goo to heal himself. Unravel Dream had limited usage in numbers. The nightmare demonic cult immortal materials had already been expended, but Guts Gu was different. As long as he had Dang Hun Mountain, Guts Gu was infinite in supply. Thus, Fang Yuan was more willing to use Guts Gu and suffer soul injuries than use Unravel Dream unnecessarily. Soon, Fang Yuan's soul healed, and he entered the dream realm again. This time, Fang Yuan did not move. He allowed the two boar-headed beastmen to carry him halfway up the mountain. Gur. At a certain point, the boar-headed beastmen stopped as one of them grunted. The other one lifted Fang Yuan's legs as he walked up. Using the moonlight, Fang Yuan could see that these two boar-headed beastmen were on the edge of a cliff. Oh no. Fang Yuan was about to struggle when these two boar-headed beastmen tossed Fang Yuan down the cliff. Fang Yuan rapidly fell down the cliff. His eyes were wide opened. The bottom of the cliff was a mass grave. Countless corpses were casually lying around. The rotten corpses had a thick mist of foul-smelling odor around them. Before Fang Yuan could think anymore, plop, with a loud sound, Fang Yuan fell to the bottom of the cliff. He was crushed into meat paste. He was dead with a ruined corpse left behind. Fang Yuan was forced out of the dream realm again. This dream realm, what is it exactly? While Fang Yuan was exploring the dream realm, in Central Continent, Heavenly Court, Lord Duke Long, please. An old woman spoke. She had a hunched back. She was bending down. Her hair was yellow like wheat. Her face was wrinkled and her eyes were blurry. She wore a yellow-brown robe. There was a ring of sand around her waist. She was standing before Duke Long reverently. Duke Long was no longer in a weak state after taking away Di Zongsheng's life force. He was mighty and commanding now. He had regained his demeanor as the apex of a legend, this moment. He was looking at the tower in front of him as he nodded. Granny Shah, you did well. This tower was Heaven Overseeing Tower. A rank 9 immortal Gu house. It had incredible reputation. It was famous throughout history. Even though it was shattered in southern border, most of the immortal Gu were preserved. After it was sent back to Heavenly Court, Gu Immortal Granny Shah woke up and had been refining Gu, repairing Heaven Overseeing Tower. Right now, her work was done. Heaven Overseeing Tower was repaired completely. Lord Duke Long, please. Granny Shah led the way. Duke Long and Fairy Ziwei followed, entering Heaven Overseeing Tower. The white jade stairs spiraled upwards. It was no different from before, but Heaven Overseeing Tower had not activated, so Duke Long and the others went up without anything happening. When they got to the top of Heaven Overseeing Tower, the three Gu Immortals saw an immortal Gu. This immortal Gu gave off an intense rank 9 aura. It was like a spider, colored in black and white. There was a scarlet wound on its body that almost cut it in two. What else was it but rank 9 Fade Immortal Gu? This Fade Immortal Gu was damaged by Red Lotus Demon, Venerable, using the power of Love Immortal Gu. It almost died. But after the hard work of generations of Heavenly Court's members, it had finally recovered to 50% during the last Central Continent Refinement Path Convention. After reaching this point of qualitative change, Fate Immortal Gu's recovery speed was many times that of before. Right now, even without success down marks, it had recovered to 60% due to Granny Shah's hard work. Good. Very good, Granny Shah. You have contributed greatly to Heavenly Court. You have contributed greatly to humanity. I am sure that when Heavenly Court rules the 5 regions, your merits will be recorded in history and be revered by all descendants in the future. Duke Long sighed with an appreciative tone. Granny Shah smiled. I am flattered, Lord Duke Long. I was merely contributing my meager strength. Furthermore, repairing Heaven Overseeing Tower was that old man's wish too. Granny Shah laughed continuously as her body turned into sand. While she laughed, a wind started blowing from nowhere, causing the sand to scatter in the air. Rank 8 Gu Immortal Granny Shah, Refinement Path Great Grandmaster, had died at this moment. She had little lifespan to begin with. When the previous generation Heaven Overseeing Tower Lord died, she woke up from shock and contributed the last spark of her life to Heavenly Court. Silence. Another Heavenly Court rank 8 Gu Immortal had sacrificed herself during this period of time. Heavenly Court had sacrificed many members. Fairy Ziwei's eyes were slightly red. Duke Long's expression did not change. His body was straight like a ruler. He spoke. In the passage of history, Generations of heavenly court's Gu immortals have sacrificed themselves like this to give a bright future to our descendants. Wei Ling Yang, by Chen Tian, they were sacrificed, Granny Sha was sacrificed, and in the future, the two of us will do the same. Why has heavenly court always been the top Gu immortal force? Other than the three immortal venerables, there is another important reason. That is, us heavenly court Gu immortals are not afraid of sacrificing ourselves. Because we know that humanity needs us, everyone needs us, heaven and earth need us. Fairy Ziwei breathed in deeply, trying to regain her calmness. Then, Lord Duke Long, what do we do now? Duke Long shut his eyes before opening them again. The great era is beginning. Some people cannot be allowed to live anymore. But that Fang Yuan, Ingwu Xie, Purple, and others are all crafty. We have no idea where they are now. It is too tough to deduce their locations with the obstruction of regional walls. Fairy Ziwei had a worried expression. No need to worry. Duke Long waved his hand. No matter where they are now, we both know that they will go to one place, the giant dream realm in southern border. Forget about northern plains and longevity heaven. They are small problems. We have to get rid of these largest threats first.